Hi, I'm ZS Caravallo from ZK Research, and I'm here on site at Dell Technology World. I'm in the Worldwide Technologies Hospitality Center, and I'm joined by a pretty smart group of people here. Someone from Intel, Worldwide Technologies, and Dell, and we're going to have a good conversation on infrastructure modernization and why that's needed today. So I'm going to start just by having each of the people introduce themselves. I'll start with you, Robert. Robert Looney, Director of Data Center America Sales for Intel. If you could just give us a quick bio on yourself and what you do for Intel.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Zeus. So Robert Looney, I do work in our data center and artificial intelligence sales group here for Americas, work with partners like Worldwide Technology, partners like our friends at Dell to make sure we can do our best to unlock the power of our innovations and solutions that businesses could apply to their business.
Well, that's good. It took us less than a minute to work artificial intelligence, and so that was good.
Well, it's in the job title.
Yeah. So Alan Ashby, Senior Director of Data Center Solutions for Dell. Quick intro on yourself.
Absolutely, thank you. So I actually run our data center specialty teams within the channel organization here at Dell in North America. So I have a group of folks that help all of our partners in North America. Our job really is to empower them to be able to understand and sell our Dell Technologies portfolio.
And lastly, Matthew Holcomb from Worldwide Technologies.
Hey guys, Matt Holcomb, Principal Architect at Worldwide. I'm a part of a really fun team at Worldwide, so we have the opportunity and the joy of being able to bring the technology these guys bring to the market to life for our customers, and then we help them simplify the complex and making sure that they're driving right technologies inside their data centers.
So we are here at at Dell Tech World. I know this is a show you guys come to all the time. I'm curious. It's day 3 now. We had Michael's keynote yesterday. Had a bunch of the product announcements. Anything here catch your eye? You want to start?
Yeah, some of the most important things are the things that always matter to conference goers. How do you use technology to apply it to the business that you're in? How does it help you be more efficient with the operations? How does it help you engage your workers? How does it help you engage your customers? How do you move forward because of an investment in technical innovations? Those areas are always paramount. I think you saw it in the keynote, you saw it in OpEx, we need to make things easier to do as a service and simpler and valid for your business. Those are always the key things.
Yeah.
I mean, the big thing for me, I look at it like, over the last couple of years, at this conference, we've announced a lot of projects.
Yeah.
This year, it's about turning those projects into reality and bringing solutions to the marketplace, and we're seeing that with our Apex portfolio, with a ton of new offerings that we're doing around there, but also what we're doing around the edge, helping our customers be able to manage, deploy, and secure the edge solutions as well. What we're doing around AI and generative AI specifically, the unique opportunity that we have around that space as well.
Actually, what I like about the show too is it's easy to think of this as a Dell show because obviously it's got the name on it, but it's really become more of an industry show, I think, for the evolution of compute. And I think that is an important role for Dell to play. $100 billion in revenue certainly puts a responsibility on you to not just talk about what you're doing with product, but how that actually gets applied. Right, and Michael in his keynote talked a lot about what's possible, right? And I think that's a big shift that Dell has made in the last decade or so, is moving from the company that sells you hardware to a company that actually helps you achieve some of these goals.
Yeah, and I think the big thing that we look at there is we have an agnostic approach with a lot of the software stacks that are out there, but we definitely have a perspective and an opinion behind that, help service our customers and help them be able to do things the right way.
Yeah, and Matt, from your perspective, what caught your eye here?
Sustainability, obviously, generative AI, the edge, it's huge, right? It's for the taking for anyone. Following the lead of these two great partners, right? So Intel makes great components that go inside of the solutions that Dell brings forward, and then I get the ability to bring those to our customers with these guys and solve really difficult problems that they're trying. Generative AI, as we all know, that's the fastest growing solution we've ever seen in the industry, right? We've been in this industry for a long time, and no one's ever seen that sort of adoption of a technology and a solution. That technology, that solution is not running on yesterday's technology, right? It needs tomorrow's technology. It needs to be enabled to be a useful tool inside every organization. It is a fun thing to do, but it's a data-driven world, right? And organizations need to leverage the data they have inside their own data centers to make intelligent decisions around their business. And that can't be done on technology that's 3-4 generations old.
Yeah, or even 2 generations old.
Exactly.
Now. Right, and Alan, I'm going to go back to you. During Michael Dell's keynote, he talked a lot about modernization, obviously, of infrastructure, AI, and how that's driving a lot of processing at the edge, right? And he actually talked about in the new portfolio, the new products you have, it's built with a little bit of a different architecture, right? So can you talk a little bit about that, and what's the penalty, as you meant, as Matt mentioned, what's the penalty for sticking with old infrastructure too long?
Yeah, I think there's two ways that we think of it. Like there's the aspect of every single product that we bring to market, you're seeing an AI element to those products. Making sure that the products, maybe it's a storage array, that storage array is optimized using that data analytics and AI engines to be able to service our customers the best way possible, but also enabling our customers the ability to use products from Dell within our platform and portfolio so that they can build their own AI models on the right infrastructure that gives them the best results. Like we look at it, that technology has changed dramatically over the last few years, and we want to make sure that if you're looking at doing those kind of rendering models, you can do it on the right piece of hardware that can be secured the right way and managed the right way from an IT perspective, so it's simple to deploy, easy to manage, and provides the right outcomes for our customers.
And why is AI so unique in that way, right? We've had new workloads come around, right? Virtualization, containers, things like that, but it seems like nothing's had the impact on infrastructure like AI has.
I mean, I think the big thing we look at is, even just what we've seen recently with all the like Chat GPT and other models out there, like those models need to be running super crazy fast. Yeah. We look at think of search today. Search results come back in milliseconds. Current chat generation models come back in 10, 20, 30 seconds. Customer expectations is instantaneous results. And you take that from just a language model and build it into what are you doing around vision and optics and image and all those kind of things. It takes so much more compute capacity. And that's the big thing that's driving is that need for power in the data center. Yeah.
There's a thing that I like to think about. I have some teenagers at home, right? I call them Generation Now, right? We've gone in such a way in which you want something delivered to your house, you can go online, you buy it, it gets delivered same day, next day, right? People want answers to their questions, and they don't want it later, they want it now, yeah. Right? And
because
that's
if
what
they don't
these guys
get it
are
now,
doing.
they're going to go somewhere else.
Exactly, yeah. And a key thing I think we need to hit on as well, these guys are very modest about it, but sustainability. And what they're doing from the manufacturing of their components into designing architectures and solutions that have a play in it. So we've hit on where Alan and Robert talked around all about performance. That comes at a cost of power and cooling as well, right? And these guys are doing a great job on helping drive the performance, but drive down the sustainability carbon footprint of all the work that we're doing.
Yeah, well, I've heard in data centers there's an expression now that the more you buy, the more you save, and that it's sort of said tongue in cheek, but it is true.
Yes.
Right. Now, Robert, Intel makes the silicon that goes in these products, and Dell's had to change the way they think about building products. How's that impacted Intel?
Oh, just in tremendous ways. I was trying to think about, we used to have a tagline, we know the future because we're building it, because we're in this 3, 5, 7 year forward-looking cadence of the technologies.
Yeah, well, you have to look at least
Correct.
5 years out, right?
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. But Dell is in the business of executing, bringing it to life today in actual compute, storage, and networking solutions. Worldwide Technologies in the business of today of actually validating and allowing you to implement those at the scale of your business. To what Matt was just talking about, the teenager, or we've all got that, different expectations. Infrastructure and workloads in the past used to be, I'm translating my general ledger into row column store in a mission critical system for running my company, and that translated into what? Batch processing overnight, batch processing to administer what's going in my business. The modern world of analytics and artificial intelligence moves way past that. Predictive, cognitive, recommendations, here and the now, what should I do next, right? That's a very different design point for compute, storage, and network to build the solutions to support those business models. So it's an amazing time right now, actually, for that kid who's thinking about it as a teenager, the kid that's thinking about being a data scientist, the kid that wants to go work in IT and actually build the infrastructure to support that business.
Now, I think one of the easiest ways you see that today, just generally, is you look at probably when we were all going to school, it's spell check was awesome. Yeah. Right, and that was really helpful. But now spell check is kind of inherent. But now it's actually trying to predict what you're going to say next as you're typing. Yeah. And that's a really good example of where AI is taking things forward, is making things easier, making it more productive, helping people through those situations, which are everyday tasks, everyday operations within the company. How do you use AI to actually automate some of those things or implement things easier, making it easier for people to be productive.
You know, it's amazing actually, there's a lot of AI built into products today that we didn't even know.
It's in everything.
Yeah, and so while we talk about it as a big theme at this event, it actually is something that's been integrated into everything we use.
Yeah.
Now, Alan, I want to go back to product, right? So Dell announced a number of new products here. I think the 16G, a new PowerFlex, I believe, right? And talk about some of those products and why they're so popular with customers. Those are some of your best-selling.
Yeah, I mean, this last year we've released our new 16G server platform, our PowerEdge platform, and it's been very well received to the marketplace. And we talked a little bit about sustainability, and I think that's one of the biggest messages with us and Intel is around our 16G platform. And it comes around with like power and cooling, but it also means a consolidation of the data center, where you could literally replace, 5, 6 servers in the past with one, with that compute capacity. And so it's very, very popular from that perspective and very successful. We've also announced, some really great innovative tools around our PowerFlex platform. PowerFlex is something we're super excited about giving customers.
That's the engineered system.
It is. It's really looking at a hyper-converged infrastructure solution that gives you the flexibility of like a 3-tier 1 architecture. It lets you be able to scale both storage and compute capacity kind of separately and really basically build a system depending on what you actually need.
Yeah. What I like about that product actually is it seems like we've been swinging the pendulum, fully disaggregated infrastructure to turnkey infrastructure, and customers always want the other thing. And PowerFlex seems to be nicely in the middle where they do get some customization capabilities, but it is a fully engineered system.
And that is exactly what, right, customers, we have a ton of customers that love like our VxRail platform. Super popular platform in the marketplace, almost like an appliance-like system. But then there's customers that want to build and design their own, and PowerFlex kind of sits right there in the middle.
Yeah. Now, Matt, you are from Worldwide Technologies, and you have this really interesting building in St. Louis that I've toured called the ATC, Advanced Technology Center. Even though Dell and Intel have done a lot of the work to take a lot of the complexity out of deploying these products, there's always test driving that needs to be done, tweaking, tuning. How does what you do help Dell and Intel customers actually get the most out of their infrastructure?
Again, we've talked a lot around infrastructure, right? And these guys do a great job of building infrastructure. These guys also bring software together that doesn't always go on top of the infrastructure when customers get it. So it's what we have fun with in our advanced technology centers. What we talk around is we bring the PowerPoint presentation to life, right? So we'll take the great scalable solutions. So if we're needing to scale compute, networking, storage, we bring those technologies in. Then we work with those same partners to bring the software that completes the whole solution. And then we sit down with them and we discuss around how do we properly train your individuals to utilize this wonderful solution we put in front of them, right? Because we could talk around silicon and software, and a lot of people like to call that the solution, but we also know that the process and the people have to be right as well to make that all work together. So that's our role, is that we work with these guys. We bring this wonderful technology in from a hardware standpoint, knowing that our customers got a day job, right? They got to keep the lights on. They got to keep doing what they do on a daily basis. But the way technology is changing the day, it's insane to try to do your day job and then keep up with what's going on in the industry. So our job is to like take the heavy lifting out of the way, get access to the right solution for the customer that they're needing for their challenges, and then enable them to validate that as exactly what they need to bring into their world to solve their problems and their solutions.
Yeah, and I think AI is an excellent example of that, where the compute needs for inferencing is quite different from training, 100%. Right? Which is quite different from the the execution phase, right? And I've talked to companies that have used the wrong infrastructure, and they've spent all this money on servers and not gotten the results they looked at. Right? So, yeah.
Computational, visual, graphical, it all requires special. It's not an easy thing to do, right? It's not a just push button get infrastructure sort of world, and it does take some thought. And again, we'll go back. I'll hit on that sustainability thing again. We're no longer designing systems just for performance only. There has to be an ability to continually updating the environment, continually watching what we're doing from a carbon footprint, continually changing, because the models what we're using today may be a little bit different tomorrow, and we have to have adaptive technology that can adjust to that kind of change in the industry.
And Alan, so I want to stay on the sustainability thing because I do think it's important. In fact, I know a lot of businesses today actually get measured on ESG goals. And I was at an event a couple weeks ago and I saw a stat that showed 90% of organizations have ESG plans in place, but only 10% have actually made progress towards it, right? And I'm curious from a Dell perspective, how would, there's the obvious, I can buy one server instead of 5, but Dell puts a lot of thought into sustainability as part of the design of the server today, right? So can you walk through that?
Yeah, I mean, at Dell, our ESG goals are pretty public with what we're trying to accomplish. And one thing, we have a strong dedication to helping our customers deliver on their ESG goals as well. The hardest thing with ESG in general from a governance perspective is the way things are measured are not always the same.
Yeah.
And so companies are struggling through, how do we measure our success? And at Dell, we're trying to help customers through that situation, making it so when you do purchase a Dell product or solution, you're actually knowing, are you making the progress that you need to? Even today at the show, I mean, I think one of the most interesting demos that we have down in their solutions area is what we're doing around the client space even. Where they're talking about how, composable notebooks where pieces can be pulled apart very easily and replaced. And, everything from what plastics we're using, we're being very conscious in our choices. And how do we actually do that? How do we package things differently? How do we look at power consumption and air cooling design features of our server platforms? Like, that's one of the features in our new 16G platforms is, knowing that, how do we make sure that customers can cool their servers in an efficient way?
Yeah.
Zeus, I was going to interject that everyone in this panel and the audience all have this role to play on sustainability. I live in Oregon, land of cheap power, green power, right? Hydroelectric, solar, and wind that powers the world's largest data centers at scale, also powers our design compute environments, also powers our manufacturing environments. So into all of the products we make, we're already building that most energy efficient embedded carbon kind of into the products we're going to ship. But we're building what's inside those products, acceleration for workloads, so you can hurry up and power down once you've completed a workload. You can use less of the power envelope in your system because you're tapping into acceleration of software married with the hardware in the implementation. So you as a customer can actually deploy those things and know you're making a meaningful impact on sustainability by deploying modern infrastructure, modern workloads that tap into the modern acceleration in infrastructure. So everybody has a big part to play here. And it's an exciting time, and our kids should be proud that we're working on this stuff.
And I also think that one of the things that we've noticed the change is now customers are asking for more information around sustainability. We're seeing it in RFPs, and they're asking us for in product level details around sustainability. It is becoming a much more important part of how we do business.
Too. Yeah, man, I want to ask you in the ATC, right? There's the role you play in making sure the infrastructure works and is doing the job it's supposed to, but how much design work you're doing around sustainable data?
I would say probably 1 in 4. Not just have a performance and how do the pieces fit together, but what is the total power utilization here? What's the amount of cooling necessary? So we're being asked all the time to evaluate different sustainability components and solutions that are out there, right? And we're having conversation. We have a whole team dedicated just to have that conversation, right? As we know, customers have to kind of stop digging the hole deeper, right? And it's not going to be an easy change. And what we do is work with them on where are you placing your workloads? What are you putting them on? What is your technology you've been enabled with? You talked around it that only 10% are really actively doing it. Well, our first thing is to try to slow down their carbon footprint train, right? So that we can turn that around. And these guys are providing them by default technology that is already more sustainable than what they bought 2 years ago. And we try to make sure they understand that they have to, it's a world of security, it's a world of sustainability, it's a world of performance, and you can't be myopic in your thought and just focus on one of those areas. You have to be mindful of all those areas, and that's where these guys are doing a great job, that every technology we bring in has one of those 3 plays as a part of the solution.
There's some amazing capabilities we've been working on for years. Dell Power Manager, Live Optics to let you look at the hot spots of compute network and storage.
Yeah, you can actually shut cores off if they're not being used.
You could speed select technology is that's what we call that at Intel, that you can find today in Dell 16G PowerEdge servers featuring those technologies. But my point is there's a lot of capabilities to tap in and really pursue where you actually have an opportunity. And anyways, so it's really fascinating to work as the 3O or the Trinity, I think, Matt.
Yeah, the Trinity of technology, yes.
To work to see how he can bring that to life for your business, in your data center, for your workloads. Yeah.
Okay, that brings us to the end of our panel. It was great having you guys. I think the main theme here is infrastructure modernization is happening. It's critically important to be able to run the workloads that we want to run and be able to drive the business into new innovative areas, but it's also important from a sustainability perspective. If companies are indeed going to close that gap between the 90% that have plans in place and the 10% that aren't, that struggle to execute on it, infrastructure modernization is an incredibly important part of that. So on behalf of Matt, Alan, Robert, thank you for joining me. I'm Zeus Caravallo from ZK Research.